Hi, I'm Amy Hannon, and nothing thrills me more than people and food. I'm a preacher's wife, a mom of 3, and I own my own specialty kitchen store. I've kept an open door and a well-stocked fridge, which means I have fed a lot of mouths over the years. So welcome to my kitchen. This is Cooking Today. Hi, welcome to Cooking Today. I'm glad you're here with me in my kitchen. I have been cold for days. I don't know about you, but I can't seem to get warmed up. Once I get cold, it's taking me all day long. And so the other night I got freezing cold and I decided I was just going to have to make potato soup for supper. And it really did the trick. I'm telling you, it warmed us up from the inside out. We got all tucked in and ate our soup and watched a little Netflix. Some good stuff on Netflix right now. And I just thought, you know what? It's been cold. It's getting colder here. And I just thought y'all might need to learn a fun, kind of a new twist on potato soup. Now, I know everybody has their own potato soup recipe, so don't turn it off right away. I know people have been making potato soup forever. But I actually have just read a couple of different recipes and have some new flavors that I'm kind of interested in that I thought I would share with y'all. And then some really good toppings that I think kind of set it apart. We're going to do this bacon first so that we get a little crispy bite right away because we want to top our potato soup with good crisp bacon. And then we want to reserve the fat that is left behind. It's not going to be a lot, but just enough to kind of give some good flavor in our soup. So what I've got here, I've got my heavy Dutch oven going in the back behind me. Got it on a little low heat right away. And then I've got 4 pieces of good bacon right here that I'm just cutting into little pieces. The fancy word for that is lardons, but we'll just say chopped. We're going to chop it. And I like to cut them up into pieces like this first and then saute them instead of making full big pieces of bacon and then crumbling them. I just think this is kind of easier all the way around. And it fits in our pot to do it this way. Okay, so I've got bacon pieces right there that I've just cut into some just kind of strips, and I've got my pot going. I'm going to turn this heat up really quick, and we'll start to get that going. And I don't know if you saw, but those pieces of bacon were kind of stuck together, and as they start to cook, they'll separate on their own, and we'll just kind of pull them apart as they cook. We'll do that with our spoon. So what I've started already is 3 pounds of little yellow potatoes. And you can choose whatever is your favorite. You could even do this with red if you'd really like to. I just like the yellow. I like the flavor of them a lot. And I didn't even peel them. I've just got these kind of cubed up like that. And I am just going to leave them just like that. And, you know, there are a couple of schools of thought on potato soup. Some people like it super creamy, which you can absolutely stick an immersion blender down in this or a masher if you would like. And you could get that a little bit thinner if you would like it that way. But our family really prefers this soup. It's a little bit chunkier. We actually like the bites of a potato. You could almost eat this with a fork and a spoon both because it's a little bit creamy and a little bit chunky. So all I'm doing is taking these potatoes, I'm cutting them in quarters, and then when I have those quarters, I'm cutting that into thirds so that we get kind of uniform sized pieces so that they'll cook nice and evenly. Our bacon is starting to sizzle in the background. Love potato soup. Do y'all have a potato soup recipe you're already using? I have tried lots and lots of different recipes over the years, that is for sure. That one came apart on me. For sure. But this is the one we've kind of landed on. Kind of scratches everybody's itch for potato soup. Like I said, a little creamy, a little bit chunky. And it's super easy since you don't have to peel those potatoes because that's a headache, isn't it? We don't want that. Okay, so I'm going to put these in the bowl with the rest. Then I'm about to turn around and give that bacon a little stir and let that, well, that's getting crispy. Okay, let's check on our bacon. And see, as I stir, those pieces start to actually, they were kind of clusters before. Now they're actually kind of coming apart. Bacon is the best part of all of it, isn't it? And then I have a little tray set over here with paper towel on it that will drain that off in just a few minutes when this is ready. Okay. And then what else I have here is a medium yellow onion. You do not have to add onion to this recipe if you don't like it. I will add this to that little bit of reserved bacon fat for amazing, amazing flavor and that good salt, that savory that we love. And I'll actually cook this down with a garlic clove in that bacon reserve fat just a little bit and kind of create a good kind of flavor base. So while our bacon continues to cook, I'm going to go ahead. We've got our onion chopped because you know I have to do that first with y'all not looking at me. I sweet talked one of the cameramen into cutting one for me the other day. It was handy. Okay, so I've got 1 clove of garlic. I'm just going to give a little chop while our bacon finishes getting crisp. Then we're going to saute the onions and the garlic and throw our potatoes in. We'll get on all that here pretty quick. This is Cooking Today.
Iced tea, sponsored by Lipton.
Hi, welcome back. We're making a really rich, delicious bowl of potato soup with a yummy, chewy, crusty bread on the side. Let me tell you what we've got going on right now. We have onions that we've kind of cubed and quartered and gotten some nice little even pieces. Didn't even take the skin off. We have a medium onion that we've chopped and a little garlic. And what's going over here that we're all agreeing smells so, so good is just some bacon pieces that we have cut into bits and cooked until they're super brown and crispy. And I just have a paper towel lined tray right over here on the side. I'm going to fish these out and let those drain and reserve that liquid. And I have turned the temperature down a little. We don't want that grease to be so hot that it just cooks things like crazy. We're going to put onions in that grease in just a second. So I have given it, cut the heat down just a little bit. And I want every last bit of that bacon. Oh, so good. Okay, so I'm going to take my bacon bits and kind of scoot them over to the side. And I have got that reserved liquid. There's not a ton of it, probably just a couple of tablespoons, so it's nothing crazy, but the flavor that it's going to give these onions, and we're going to toss those potatoes in it a little bit. It's good stuff. So I've got this onion, and I'm going to put those in the bacon right away. That bacon fat. If you chose not to use that bacon grease, you could drain it out if you would rather and lighten this up just a tad. And then you could actually just do a little olive oil and butter in the bottom of your pan. But you do need a little fat for this good little saute on these onions. Okay, and I've got that turned on kind of low because the pot's already super hot from having, cooked that bacon really well. So we're going to let those saute for just a minute. Now this is kind of an important thing here. We're going to actually put 1 whole 32-ounce carton of chicken stock, or you could use vegetable stock if you would rather. We're going to put that down in our potatoes. But I also like to always have a little warm stock kind of simmering on the side, just for add-in, because sometimes you might have to leave the stove and things cook down a little too far because you picked up the phone and talked to your mother on the phone, and before you know it, all your liquids burned down. So I do like to have a little warming stock over on the side. So that's why I have this cute pan that I love. I have these at Unimaze. They're actually on shopunimaze.com. And I just do a little, maybe about a half, so that's about 1.5 cups or so of just warming stock that I can use to add back in to my potato soup here in just a little bit if I need it. And I made this soup just this week, and I did. It was very handy to have this extra warm chicken stock simmering on the stove. This is a great functional tip for any cook. Thanksgiving, holidays, anytime you're cooking big, warming stock is kind of a great backup, and it's super tip to have handy. So I'm going to set this aside. And then we have our garlic. And you know, we don't add our garlic in with our onions right away because garlic will burn up in a split second. So we want those onions to cook first. I'm going to check them. Oh my goodness. That brown from that bacon. Oh, I could eat that right there with just a little spoon. That is good stuff. So quickly, we're just going to add this chopped garlic, give it a little stir, and let it saute for a little second. As soon as you start to really smell garlic and it becomes fragrant, you know that it's time to go ahead and get liquid on it. If we did not add liquid to this garlic when we start to smell it, then it's going to burn. So use your nose, cook with your ears, so you're not just looking with your eyes, okay? So here we go. We've got a clove of garlic. Oh my lands, onions and garlic and bacon. Oh my. That was a Wizard of Oz joke. I'm cracking myself up. All right, so I'm starting to smell that. So what we want to do really quickly, we're going to throw these potatoes in there. Now watch your way, don't let them splash on you. I'm going to just put them in pretty quick. And I'm going to let these have a little toss in all of that good flavor as well. So before I put liquid all over this, and before my garlic burns, I'm going to give that a good, quick toss. Almost like you're getting a saute on these. I've got my stock, my backup. Turn the heat up on that. There we go. Oh, this smells good, y'all. Okay, I've given that a little toss. We're starting to see a tiny bit of color on those potatoes, which is what I love. You know, most people have potato soup recipes that are really white, and this one's got some really great color from all these good flavors in saute, and that's starting with that bacon grease. So when we come back, we're gonna actually add our stock and get going on our toasty, yummy bread. This is Cooking Today. Hi, we're back. We've got potato soup boiling on the stove behind us. I just snacked on a little of the bacon when you weren't looking. I just can't help it. Delicious. I just need to always make more than I think I'm gonna need because little bit by little bit it starts to disappear. Same with my family. If they were here, we have little bandits, bacon bandits around here. Okay, so what I've got going is we've boiled some potatoes that we've cut about 3 pounds cubed, and I actually have poured a 32-ounce carton of chicken stock on top. Comes right to the top. We're not gonna drain this. And so it really does matter kind of your level there. So you do really wanna pour, I have learned, or have experienced that one 32-ounce chicken stock carton will actually cover right at the top. So it's kind of a good mix. So try to follow that pretty, precisely. If you feel like for whatever reason that your potatoes are just totally drowning in chicken stock, then back off a little on your stock. But you do want the liquid to go right to the top of the potatoes. I've got those going on a really serious boil because we want those to get really tender. And eventually, they're going to be fork tender when you stick your fork right in that potato and it starts to fall apart. And we didn't take the skins off, and those skins will start to kind of separate from the potato pieces. That's when you know you've got something good going on. Smells fantastic. So we have this going on a boil, and right away, we want to salt this like crazy. Potatoes have 0 salt. They have no flavor whatsoever, and you know that. The chicken stock has some salt in it, but this is the point that you really still want to get some salt in there because those potatoes are absorbing that liquid. And so to get the salt into the flavor, the flavor into the potatoes, you want to do that right now while they're boiling. And I'm going to do a pretty good dose of pepper. You could use white pepper in that if you would rather, not to see the little black bits of the pepper, but we love a little black pepper showing up in our creamy white things like this soup. Okay, so I'm stirring that in. We have our extra chicken stock simmering on the stove. And I'm just going to let that go to town and watch that as we work on our bread. So what I have here, I love a crusty loaf. Something really thick and hearty like a sourdough or a French baguette. And this is a beautiful baguette that I actually got at the grocery. And it's a little bit thick and chewy. I just love that when you can kind of soak it down into that and it'll hold up. And we kind of take a bite with our spoon and eat a bite with our bread. And sometimes, you know, my boys will take a little bite of soup and put it right on top and eat it. And so that's the kind of bread that we've chosen. You can do whatever in the world. You can do a biscuit forevermore if you felt like it. So I'm going to actually cut this on the bias. A little bit of an angle. We're kind of going to make crostinis. Kind of. We'll drizzle these with some olive oil. I've got the oven on 400. Oh my goodness. All the smells in this kitchen right now, you just would not believe. I can smell the bacon and the onions and the garlic and that salty chicken stock. And then I've just cut into this delicious bread. Holy cow. Good stuff. So we've got a baking sheet. And I'm not going to do every bit of that bread, but I just have a lined baking sheet. And the oven is on 400. So I've got this delicious chewy bread that I'm going to lay out. You could do thicker, big fat pieces if you'd rather. You could even tear this. This is kind of rustic and fun. Actually, I am going to do the rest because I've got room. You could even tear this bread into chunks, like big, yummy, messy hunks of bread. And do the exact same thing we're about to do on this sheet pan. Just kind of line them up on there or toss them, really. We're going to give them a delicious little drizzle of olive oil. And then season them with salt and pepper. So like I said, I just did this kind of bias. But chunks would be kind of fun. Maybe I'll do that next time. Okay. I'm going to drizzle each one of them with some good olive oil. My oven is on. I'm going to do salt and pepper. We want to flavor as you go, every step. Every step, add some flavor. And salt and pepper will do the trick. If you have nothing more than just salt and pepper, which most of us do, that will do it. Okay, a little salt. Just a little pepper. You could even do a little garlic salt on here. Garlic powder. We're going to put them in the oven for not very long, probably only, 10 minutes or so. If you want them to be really yummy and especially crisp, then you would want to do them a little bit longer. If you want them just to kind of have the top crisped, then you can just do them for about 10 minutes or so. So when we come back, we will pull out our toasted bread. We'll do the last few things to our potatoes that have just cooked away while we've been working. And we will dress the most beautiful, delicious, creamy, warm bowl of potato soup you've ever seen. This is Cooking Today. Hi, we're back. Smells like potato soup in here. I'm just about ready to just top it off with a couple of secret surprises in this particular potato soup recipe. We've got our crispy bacon, a few green onions, and we've pulled that bread out and it's toasted and yummy. It's still chewy on the inside and a little crispy on top. And we have our potato soup and it has cooked down and those are tender and the skins have started to come apart. And what I like to do now to kind of thicken that sauce that's in it is I add about a quarter cup of instant potato flakes. You know, like mashed potatoes. But I want that to get into that liquid to thicken it like a really yummy gravy. And then I also add in about a half a cup or so, maybe 3/4, maybe 1. I mean, we love half and half, right? We're going to cream that up just a little bit. Those potato flakes are going to actually make that thicken. And then that cream whitened it up and mellowed out that flavor. Oh my word. And I also am going to add the tiniest pinch of cayenne pepper for the littlest hit of warmth right in the back of your mouth when you are eating these yummy bites. Oh my word. Look at that. Beautiful, beautiful. And this is when we would add our extra chicken stock that's warming over there. As that sits, as you're serving it and people are eating it, it will thicken a little, and you can just put in a little bit more of that warm stock and serve it right back up, and it's really good. Okay, let's plate this beautiful dish. Now, one of the little secrets that I actually put on top of my potato soup now that I learned from a foodie on Instagram is that she does a little drizzle of balsamic right on the top. And my family, I didn't think they were going to like that. I thought they would think, what on God's green earth? They loved it. As a matter of fact, as soon as the bites of that are gone, they come back for another little drizzle. So we have ladled our soup in. We're putting in a little balsamic right in the top. I know it's a surprise. Oh my goodness, it's that tart of that little vinegar in there. Oh, it's so good. And then I like a little crumble of blue cheese. It's a surprise. It's got a real strong flavor. My son says it tastes like socks, but I sure love it. You can also trade this out for aged Swiss or goat or plain old Monterey Jack cheddar, whatever you are in the mood for. Bacon, beautiful scallions that we've cut up, and then topping it with yummy buttery garlic croutons right on top. I told you it was going to be different. Isn't that good? Delicious warm bites. This is Cooking Today.
Groceries provided by Harps, hometown fresh. Kitchenware is provided by Una Mays.